All right, what's going on, people? This is the Cornerstone Podcast. Subscribe, like, comment, and share the content. Follow us on YouTube, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. We got Rob and the Chief Boardhead. How you doing? What's going on, cuz?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Yeah, everything is good, man. So, what brings us here for this recording today? I know that you want to talk about the military draft. So, what about the draft that you wanted to talk about?
Uh, ever since you know the invasion of Russia into Ukraine, uh, whenever we have a any type of conflict where we have to support other people, you know, we we always tend to enlist people's help, or I'm sorry, they tend to enlist our help. So I mean, I've been seeing people post on Facebook, on Instagram. They're talking about the draft and helping out Ukraine and doing all these other things. So it just kind of made me, you know, kind of do a little research on it because I'm a geek like that and I like to get into things, and understand why things happen. So we pretty much uh, the last draft was in 1955 and it lasted until 1973, and that affected my father, Uncle Richard. They both got drafted during that time period.
Hmm.
So as I was looking at the Selective Service website, um, I found some very interesting things I didn't even know, which is funny, after doing almost 30 years in the Navy.
Yeah, me too.
So
Yeah, just a quick Google search. I found out about
that it
some
was
things that I didn't
crazy.
even know about. Yeah, go ahead.
So the first thing I found out was that the first thing I found out was you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to get drafted in the United States.
Yeah,
You can just be an immigrant that's here, and if you don't take the draft, you won't get your citizenship
you got to be between the ages of 18 to 25.
for now.
Yes. Hmm.
Then there's another stipulation after they start running out of that population, then they can go all the way up to 30, 31.
Oh, okay. So would that be like an act of Congress in order for that to happen? For them to like
Uh,
change the rules like that? Was that already
well,
embedded in the actual legislation?
so when you go to the what do they call it? The Selective Service.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a system like all other systems, and like I was saying, they already have all their rules in place.
Mm-hmm.
So they know who they're gonna, they know who they're going to, they know who they're gonna draft. It's gonna be males, which, um, once again, if anyone wants to uh, dispute that men and women are equal, yeah, women don't get drafted into the military, so we're not equal. All right, y'all get a pass. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I believe right after 9/11, there were two young men that actually sued the government for $1 million apiece because women did not get drafted, and they said that it was considered discrimination.
Yeah, it is a
Uh,
form of discrimination that women are not going to get drafted. I mean, I understand it because to me, I abide by the patriarchal social order, so I don't want women to be drafted into the military. I mean, that's just me. So yes, it is discrimination, but at the same time, that's a type of discrimination that I actually don't mind. I don't mind men only being drafted in the military, and our women being stay home and kind of like hold down the homeland for us. But
yeah, well,
yeah,
I
go ahead.
mean, that's what women did in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it's funny. I used to love all those posters and stuff that they'd have, and they would, show the girl with the handkerchief covering her hair, and she's got her sleeve rolled up, and she's like, let's do all this, and that's as tough as they could be then. You know, but they wanted, a lot of them wanted to join the military to fight.
Mm.
Um, for me, uh, I don't understand that concept because I believe that women are supposed to be nurturers, which means that you don't go kill people or partake in those type of things
Mm-hmm.
in war.
All
You
right.
know, I don't see how a woman can carry a child for 9 months and then want to kill someone else's child. And that's just my opinion about it. And I don't care what people think. Um,
Yeah.
but getting back to the selective service, since we know that women cannot be drafted, so uh, but the biggest thing that I really was intrigued about was the immigrants.
Mm.
And I don't know. I don't even know if they notify people with green cards that are immigrants but non-citizens that they can be drafted in the U.S. military if they're a temporary citizen of this country.
Yeah. Yeah. Even when I was 18 years old, I'm not sure what prompted me to sign up for the selective service. I believe maybe the MEPS told me that I had to do it because at the time I was 17 years old when I enlisted in the military, but I was in a delayed entry program and I wasn't able to ship out until July, literally like a month after I graduated high school. So I was technically 17 when I enlisted. But I remember signing up for the selective service and I printed out the page as far as my number. Then I kind of just saved it for safekeeping. But I'm not sure if MEPS told me to do it or some other entity told me to sign up for it. So, but yeah, this was literally over 20 years ago when when I signed up for it.
Yeah, and when you if you don't sign up, you can get in trouble. You can actually
Yes,
do a little jail time. But
they haven't prosecuted that since the 80s. But
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's just like jaywalking. I mean, it's in the books as far as it could be punishable, but the government really don't enforce it like that because we haven't had a draft since the 70s.
right.
So it's really no need to like go after people who haven't registered for it. But like soon I'm going to share like this article that's in military.com that deals with the draft. And I want to ask you a question real quick. So since the government kind of opened up Pandora's box in regards to allowing people to change their birth certificate as far as their sex. So if there's like a trans woman that's between the ages of 18 to 25, I mean, technically, biologically, they supposed to enroll in the selective service. But if they're identifying as a woman, I mean, do they not? Are they not obligated to register for the selective service?
So you talking about you talking about like a clinger from like MASH?
I haven't seen MASH. I know MASH is one of the most popular shows in television history, but I don't think I
Oh
ever
wow.
seen one episode of MASH. I know it was a comedy. I know it was a
Yeah. So
comedy. Yeah, but
so
yeah, I
so
never
they had
seen
a
it.
character. So they had a character, um, and he was drafted during Korea, and he didn't want to be there. So what he would do is he would wear dresses and dress up like a nurse, even though he was like a soldier. And he tried his best for them to get rid of him, and they wouldn't discharge him.
Now, okay, so his character in the show, like, was he mocked? Like, was he like part of the team? Like, was he very respectful, even though like he was kind of doing heinous
No,
things and trying to
I
get
mean,
out?
I mean, I mean, he was a main character,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he would run around the camp wearing dresses and
What?
dressing like a nurse.
Right, but how
You
did they
know,
treat him though?
I mean, they pretty much just ignored him. They were just like, yeah, whatever.
Oh,
Like, yeah,
okay.
we know you're not a girl.
Okay.
And I mean, back then that was a dischargeable offense.
Mm.
Dressing up like a girl or being gay.
Right,
Now he
cause
never played the gay role. He just played the female role because he
oh,
wasn't gay.
okay,
But it's
but
funny because he wears skirts and then he would have the hairy legs and show that around and he would do things to make people just say, look, man, let's just get rid of this guy.
okay, so they knew that he was putting up an act, so just
Oh
so they could
yeah.
be discharged, but
Oh yeah,
the
that was
government.
whole part of the that was all part of his character in the show was the
Oh,
fact that he was faking the fact that he just didn't want to be there and he didn't want to serve.
Oh, interesting.
Uh,
Wow.
yeah, but so if you identify as a girl, but you still have your male organs, you still can be drafted, and you still can join. However,
Are you sure about
transgender,
that?
I'm positive.
Okay.
Uh, and I only know that from the DoD instruction for physical qualification and standards to join the military, and it's done by the MEPS, which is the military entrance processing stations
Mm-hmm.
around the country.
Right.
And I used to work with them on process improvement projects to get better to get a better recruit to show up on the first day of boot camp.
Okay.
So like one thing about the draft. Matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick. One thing I liked about the draft, or one thing they talk about it is, once you're selected, not only do you have to get an exam, but you have to be a moral compass in order to join. So if if you have pedophilia ways, or actually back now back before they changed the don't ask don't tell, um homosexuality was considered an immoral act, and that's why you couldn't join the military.
Okay.
You know, um, I
Hey,
know with our current.
I'm not sure if this
Go
true or
ahead.
not, but was sodomy also prohibited in the military, even though it's between two heterosexual people? Was sodomy
No, that's
was
against the law.
okay as far as in
I,
general
I,
or in
I,
the
I,
military?
in the military. So I actually had a sailor who was discharged. Actually, he was arrested and discharged because he got caught having anal sex with his wife.
How did he get caught doing that?
Um, Somebody was walking past their house and they had the window open.
Are you serious? Did someone like snitched on
I'm not
them?
making this up.
Someone
Yeah,
snitched
this
on.
happened at. Well, I mean, the whole case was really messed up because of the fact that um, the sailor in question was like, "Why was this man eavesdropping in my home?"
Right.
And because the UCMJ has special powers, prosecution powers towards people in the military, he just went to captain's mast, so he didn't go to a court martial, and the commanding officer made the decision to discharge him.
Okay, so how did that eavesdropper know that they were doing anal? How did he know that?
He said he was walking by, they were having sex with the window, with the curtains open. He was looking in,
Well, wait. Okay,
and that's.
so he went from the sidewalk and walked up to their window
Yep.
and physically looked inside of their home and saw them doing whatever they were doing.
Yep. And because it was in base housing, that was deemed appropriate.
Are you serious?
I can't make this up, man. I
Okay,
cannot make this up
so why is sodomy against the law? According to the military, why?
because it's considered a moral act,
I'm saying what, but why is it immoral? Why?
because things were meant to come out, not go in.
That's the
It's the
rationale.
truth. It's the truth, though. Hey, look, man. Military.
Hey, cuz, listen, like our tongues ain't meant to be down a woman's vagina, but after evolution and like pleasure, we end up, doing that sexual act, and that's not illegal according to the military, right? But sodomy is illegal.
Well, no, actually, oral sex is considered sodomy in the military as well.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
The
So
military is like the Catholic Church, then.
I mean, it was based on a Christian values.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
You know,
That's true.
all these morality clauses in the United States have been based on Christian values. But
You-
we're all but which kind of makes you question the morality of our country. I mean, look at us. I mean, look at us right now.
So we should be more religious, you're saying, or we should be more secular, or have like a balance of the both.
You know, they have something what they call a moral fiber, and that fiber is supposed to be tight
Right.
and clean and crisp. But it's just like the American flag. What happens when that flag starts falling apart? What do they do with the flag?
They
They
dispose
replace,
of it, and
but they
some type
dispose
of
of it
process.
differently though.
Right.
Right? There's a process to get rid of an American flag.
You just can't throw a
So, and
flag
it,
in the trash. It's like a
no,
certain process that you got to do in order to properly dispose it. Right. I understand that.
no. If you get caught throwing an American flag in the garbage can, I don't think it's against the law, but you probably upset a whole lot of veterans and
Right.
people who are really love this country. But
You can't even let a flag drag on the ground.
not in the military.
Right. In the military. Right.
Civilians can do anything they want to a flag because that's their right as an American citizen.
Right.
But us military, no, we're not allowed to deface or degrade the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I've taken on a lot of I've been in a lot of those ceremonies where we've actually cut the strips and burned it. But my whole point is the moral fiber of this country is terrible. It's like it's got holes in it, and things are falling apart. I mean, the number one issue in America right now is sexual.
It's sex and gender. Yes.
Everything is about sex and gender now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I know we're getting off topic a little bit about the draft, but you know, we're in a sexual war right now. Men and women are in a sexual war with each other right now, and you got men and women out here acting like men and women, the opposite sex, chasing the opposite sex, which a lot of us don't want to be chased by the opposite sex. You know, us straight people, they don't talk about that in the alphabet for LGBT, but S stands for straight. All right. And
Oh wait, you added an
this
S for
actually
the
that
you. Well, wait,
yeah, S is for straight.
I'm saying, but you're adding an S for the LGBTQ plus whatever.
I, I'm throwing the S um into that alphabet soup because we still live in this country. I mean, they act like everybody's gay in this country.
I understand that, but they won't allow you to add an S.
What you mean they won't allow? I'm putting an S on it. Fuck them.
I'm saying, well, they
You
won't
can't tell me what I can do.
but they won't recognize your acronym.
Well, I'm gonna make a flag with a big ass S on it, and I'm gonna start a fucking straight parade in America. How about that one, everybody?
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I mean, don't
I'm
kill
gonna,
a
I'm gonna
messenger,
look.
but
Hey,
they won't allow you to
hey,
do
look.
that.
I'm gonna put my horns on and put on a flag, and I'm gonna start my first straight parade in America.
I think somebody
And
already
say we
did
sick
that.
and tired of this shit. Well,
I
then
think
I'll
someone
be the
did it
second one
already.
to do it.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
So
they need to do it every day
before we get off the
or
rails,
once a year.
before this interview get off the rails, let me go over some excerpts from military.com in regards to the draft. So let me share my screen real quick.
All right.
Now, I got this from military.com, everything you need to know about the military draft. And I'm going to read down here. Now, the draft is officially known as the Selective Service. The Selective Service is a government bureau separate from the Defense Department, whose mission statement is to register men and maintain a system that, when authorized by the President and Congress, rapidly provides personnel in a fair and equitable manner while managing alternative service program for conscientious objectors. So let me move down here. Basically, this means that we ever have a national emergency or war that the all-volunteer military can adequately support, Congress and the President can reinstate the draft and force male citizens to serve in the military, male citizens. While
Right.
women have not been excluded from combat service since 2013, they currently are not required to register for the draft. The law, as it's written now, refers specifically to male persons and stating that who must register and who must be drafted. For women to be required to register with the Selective Service, Congress will have to change the law. Yeah, so Congress will have to change the law in order for women to be admitted or required to register for the Selective Service. So
You
if
know
you
what's so
don't,
funny?
oh, sorry, go ahead.
You know what's so funny about that? with all the women who are jumping into politics and actually, are actually, in the next 20 years going to be in charge of some of these armed forces committees and everything else. I would love to see if they're going to ever change that to where you do where they can be drafted. But it'd be so funny if you put all these women in charge and then they don't even put them up for the draft, but yet they're saying that they're equal to men.
Yeah, my thing is, if we were to have a female president, she would be the commander in chief. If you got a woman commander in chief, but you won't have females to be required to register for the selective service, that's kind of like hypocritical. I mean, I'm not against a woman
It's
being
very
president,
hypocritical.
right? I'm not against a woman being president, but I'm just looking at like the optics. You can have a woman be the leader of the military, but women, regular women citizens, are not required to be in a selective service. Now, women, they can serve in the military. They can have any job that they want, long as that they're qualified for that job. But as far as if we have a military shortage and we really need to draft men into the military, I mean, nowadays, men, to me, the way I see the landscape around the country, I'm not mostly fit for the military. Like they want to show how men are being toxic masculinity as far as that buzzword that like a lot of feminists use nowadays. So like men can't be men anymore because you got Gillette commercials making up commercials on someone. Yeah, men need to check their masculinity. Men,
I mean,
you know,
and then and on the flip side, if they're too sensitive, they got a problem with that too.
yeah,
It's like, which one you want?
yeah,
You want a lion or you want a lamb?
yeah.
I ain't finna be no lamb.
In regards to
I'm not.
having
I'm not gonna ever be a lamb.
right now, in regards to have a strong military force, you got to have wolves in your military. You can't have lamb. It takes a wolf to like kill a wolf. So if we're talking about fighting the enemy, the enemy abroad, whatever they're in the Middle East or where they're in Asia, whatever, but it takes a wolf to kill a wolf. So if you're having all these male lambs just being herded to the military, they're not really physically fit. They're not mentally fit. I feel as though that today's men in 2022, ages 18 to 25, are not that much fit for the military compared to when we enlisted in the military. I enlisted back in 1999. You enlisted sometime in the early 90s, correct? Or in the late 80s?
1989.
Oh, 89. Okay. So, yeah, men back then were different versus men of today. So, I
Well,
blame,
I mean, but things were different back then. First,
yeah,
they didn't let homosexuals in the military, and not knowingly. Um, so, like I said, when they changed the "don't ask, don't tell," you know, I mean, because there were men that were telling on themselves, they just weren't verbally saying that they were gay, but you know, on the flamboyant side, oh, they were showing like a motherfucker. All
mm,
right, but a matter of fact, one of them uh, for 6 whole months, and I'm actually writing a small little book about it, about my experience on the ship, uh, doing a cruise for 6 months in the Mediterranean, and also sitting off the coast of Kosovo and Bosnia during that campaign. But this guy was going around touching people, and they still didn't do anything about it. And eventually, he raped a little young sailor that checked on board right before we was heading back to the States
mm,
in Rota, Spain. So that's another thing. Actually, I want to have I'd love to do another show just talking about sexual assault in the military.
okay.
Uh, I mean, it's a big topic right now, and it's getting worse. And just to say this, or ask you a question: if you're a man and you rape another man, are you gay or are you just a rapist?
You could be both.
Yeah. So I was talking about how this guy, he had been touching people and sitting in the bathroom, watching guys coming in and out the shower. And, I would report him every time he did something and then never did anything about it because they'd ask him, "Are you gay?" And he'd say no. And that was the
Mm,
policy back then, which was
right.
fucking stupid, because he was touching people. Um, But eventually he did. There was a new guy that checked on board. There's kind of like a video, a movie that they have about that for that some of the kids watch before they go to boot camp, and it's called Their First Day on the Ship.
Mm.
And they show a guy who shows up on a Friday, on a Friday afternoon after everybody's been secured, and they just say, "Oh yeah, go down to this place and go get you a bunk," and no one tells them where to go eat at, no nothing, and they just forgot about them.
Mm.
And that happens sometimes. Somebody's, they're forgotten about. But like I said, this guy, this new kid checked on board the ship. You got to go, turn in certain documents, your orders, your medical record to medical, turn your pay record into dispersing. This guy's a dispersing clerk, and he was like, "Well, you can't go on town without a Liberty buddy," not knowing that he was gay or anything else.
Mm.
And he took him out in town, and what brought him up, they got drunk, and he brought him back to the ship, and he sodomized them. He raped him.
Mm. Okay.
So, that was the question I was asking you when we first got cut off. I said, if a man rapes another man, is he gay or is he just a rapist?
Okay. Oh yeah. The last thing I said was for the purposes of the YouTube algorithm, let's just try not to. Well, let's replace the word rape with something else. Like let's just say grape. Grape. Yeah.
Is that bad?
Yeah. A lot of YouTubers been kind of changing that word and been saying grape instead of the actual RAPE word. So well yeah. All right. So
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if a man was to grape another man, right?
Yeah.
Is he considered a rapist or is he considered gay? I mean, he could be both. And the way that I understand rapists, as far as the whole psychology around grape is really about like power, right? Instead of the actual sex itself.
I mean, that's what they say. But if it was just about power, then why would it be sexual? Why couldn't it just be, strangling somebody to death? That's a
Yeah,
power move on somebody too.
right. Yeah, I get
You
it,
know,
but
or poisoning somebody. You know, all I'm saying is for a man to want to enter another man's uh, rectum,
yeah,
there
but
has to be some homosexual, thought there,
yeah, of
because that's not
course.
that's not normal. You know what I mean? It's not normal to just go and just want to go, do that.
Yeah, but like
And
the most ultimate violation you could do to someone else is to kind of like take advantage of them against their will through a sexual act. Now that's power over
yeah,
that person. So that's the
I
ultimate
yeah, I agree.
violation.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
that. But the whole thing is, like I said, the Pentagon is reporting that they got 10,000 men who are being raped in all four branches every year, annually.
10,000 of all
Yeah,
four
men.
branches of men.
Yeah. And
Mm.
and they're saying that those are only ones that are reported.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more out there because a lot of men don't report grapes,
Right. Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's a masculine
It's a vulnerable
ego thing.
it's a vulnerable place to be at to kind of like report that out in the open. So yeah, I totally understand the psychology of why the victim wouldn't want to do it, especially if he's a male being
Right.
being raped by another male. Yes, that's. I mean, you would carry that scarlet letter with you throughout your whole career, and psychologically, how are you going to move forward and you trusting other individuals and would that hinder your ability to like have a healthy relationship and possibly start a family? So it's a lot of things that's into it in regards to the ultimate violation, especially through with like a man doing that to like another man, and those stats are very inflated when it comes to prisons as well.
You say inflated?
Yes, very inflated. Yes, as far as the high volume of those type of cases in prisons.
You think it was? So you're saying it's overestimated?
No, well, I should never say it inflated, but it is a high volume of those heinous acts in prison.
Okay, so even though they have grapes in prison, most of it's consensual from what I've seen when I worked in a prison.
Or could you say it's under duress, just to kind of like
No, 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 no. I know guys who were gangbangers on in Memphis that was locked up in there. Most of them for selling drugs, selling weed, and they give you 11 months and 29 days. So it's like one day less than a felony, you know,
mm,
and they lock you up for a year, and while they're in there, some of them get some jailhouse booty. That's what they call it. They don't
mm,
they don't consider themselves being gay. They just saying this is jail booty. You know what I mean?
mm,
So when they get back out, then they go back and start having sex with they woman.
mm, mm.
And
Wow.
that's how Shelby County in Memphis, Tennessee had more HIV cases between 1990, I think 1997 and 1999.
Yeah,
Shelby County had more HIV cases than the entire state put together.
yeah,
And
that
Tennessee
was
is a large state.
yeah, that was a big propaganda campaign in regards to how they were stating, as far as daytime talk shows about how a lot of men are on the down low because of these women getting HIV at a very fast rate. I mean, just by looking at it from a two-dimensional level, I was like, man, I mean, I don't think that there's men on the down low per se. I just think that these women are dealing with men coming out of prison. I mean, that was just like my first reaction to like
No,
seeing
okay,
seeing
but
stuff like that.
right. But just like you said, they're coming out of prison, but they on the down low while they in prison. They not telling a
No,
woman
no,
that they poked
no,
some other dude in the butt.
no. As far as the way daytime TV, your Sally, Jesse Raphael's, your Oprah's. I mean, the way that they were saying it, they were just saying how it was hard for like educated, successful women to find a good man because he's on a down low. They're not talking about men coming out of prison. They were just talking about
Uh,
your regular everyday man who went to college, who plays sports. He's on a down low, and that's why these women can't find a good man because he's doing some moonlighting activities. That's why he can't. Well, that's why she can't find a good man because he's pretty much kind of like he finds men attractive more than he finds her attractive. But it, it,
well,
was,
well,
it was
first,
just a
well,
big
first
propaganda
of all,
campaign.
right. First of all, if you're a college educated woman who makes a decent salary, then why would you be chasing those type of men anyway? Or why would you want those type of men to be chasing you?
As far as the regular educated brother or who you talking about?
Oh, okay. So what I'm saying is, can they verify that a guy's on the down low, or is that just something they're saying?
It was just something that they were saying. I mean, you
Okay.
can't quantify who's on the down low, who's not. I mean, that it should be no stat out there giving you a definitive number of men on the down low. I mean, it's called the down low. I mean, you just don't know.
Right. Right.
So, but they were
Oh,
making it
that's
seem
funny.
like it was a high percentage of men on the down low. That's why these women can have successful relationships with so-called straight men. But it,
All right. So
it was just
so
a BS campaign. That's all.
all right. So touche. Now you got just as many women out here on the down low too.
but but
I'm just
women
saying.
but women don't hold that scarlet letter. I mean, women can switch it all their lives, but and men would still take the man and have relations with them. But if a man was to do that, oh man, like he would have that scarlet letter.
Well,
Women
you know,
women women wouldn't openly deal with him like that, especially if it's known that he's been a switch hitter. Women not gonna deal with him like that.
I mean, some women will.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you
some
got you got
will.
some. I mean, you got some freaks out here, man,
Yeah, yeah.
that
So
that just don't care. Now,
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people on the down low. Just like there's way more LG, B's and T's now than ever before, and you know, uh, there's just as many women on the down low as men now these days.
mm-hmm.
There's quite a few of them,
Yeah.
and you know, especially man. Well, I mean, like I said, I only speak on what I know. Like here in Atlanta, and when I moved here 10 years ago, all the women damn near was fucking single here. Damn near all of them.
What's the ratio between women to men in Atlanta? And plus, you got a high percentage of gay black men in Atlanta as well. Because I asked you this like a couple nights ago, as far as why is Atlanta the gay black male capital versus San Francisco being the gay white male capital of the U.S.
We talked about that before. See, they're set up differently. See, San Francisco's always been a gay community since man the 50s or 60s. You know what I'm saying? They got a history there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they when I went out to Oakland for a 3 week operation there in 1999, Operation Urban Warrior. We was running around in neighborhoods and stuff, doing stuff. But yeah, I've always been a news watcher or a newspaper reader. So I went and got a newspaper, and it was like 5 different newspaper stands, and I didn't even pay attention. I just put some money in there, and it was a gay newspaper.
Mm.
And then I looked at all the rest of them, and all of them were gay newspapers, and they had 5 or 6 of them. See, they don't have that in Atlanta. You know, it's not that big. I mean, they have a community here, like they do. You know, it's so funny. They have more close knit LBGT communities than they have black communities in America.
Well, they have their economics intact. They have like a lot of money.
They do. They make crazy money.
And they back their politicians in order for the politicians to kind of like execute whatever bidding that they want.
Right.
So
So you know that when like I said, when my experience in San Francisco was, man, it wasn't that bad. I mean, you know, go around, you just walk around and see the sights. But there was a lot. There was more of a gay presence, but it didn't seem very adversarial towards other people.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it's been there for so long. It's like the norm, and people just like it's no big deal. I mean, like I said, some people call me homophobic. I'm just homo aware, okay? Because you have to be careful out here who you're fucking with, you know, male or female.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can have a friend and not know he's gay, and he won't tell you. And sometimes that friend will try to hit on you.
Yeah, I mean, like now today in 2022,
It's happened to me quite a few times.
yeah, today they have a space, a safe space in order to like come out and kind of like express themselves and live their truth. But yeah, back then, it was a common for like people to kind of like be out in the open. That's why they called it in the closet.
Right.
So especially like in Hollywood. So, but like today, I mean, Lil Nas X, he's one of the biggest, music artists in the country right now, and he's out in the open, doing his thing, and actually, you know what? I mean, I really don't
It's
care
funny.
about. I really don't care.
I've heard he was straight in the closet,
Well,
which is
whatever he's
kind of
doing,
crazy.
whatever he's doing though, as far as what he's portraying out there, what was a bridge too far for me was when my daughter, she was in YouTube Kids, because she always watching like little like doll TV shows on YouTube
Yeah.
Kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was a video of Lil Nas X, like one of his prison videos, which he was doing all types of gay innuendo type of movements.
And that was on YouTube Kids.
That was on YouTube Kids, and I was highly
I'm
upset
not
about
surprised.
that. Yeah,
I would be too.
yeah. Hey, just to kind of put a bow on this selective service thing, let me share my screen one more time, and I'm gonna read this last excerpt from it. Okay. What if you don't register for the draft? Legally, you could be in a lot of trouble if you don't register. It's a felony, however, no one has been prosecuted for the crime since 1986, but that doesn't mean you won't have problems. If you fail to register for the draft by the time you turn 26, you are no longer able to do so. Then, if you apply for any government benefits at any time after that, you quite possibly be denied no student aid, government job, etc. Government stats suggest that more than 1 million men have been denied some government benefits because they weren't registered for the draft. An appeal to those benefits can be costly and time consuming. In 2017, the Selective Services returned nearly over 200,000 names and addresses of people who failed to register for the draft to the Department of Justice for computer matching. So, well, yeah, that's kind of the last thing I wanted to put on that. But yeah, I did not know that if you didn't register for the selective service, that you would be denied certain benefits later in life. I mean, that was news to
Oh
me.
yeah.
I had no idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And like I said, the thing that really intrigued me was that if you're a immigrant but not but a non-citizen, you can still be drafted. And
Mm-hmm.
if you refuse the draft,
Yeah, they
you
can
can be
deport you.
deported, and or you can, or they say you'll never get your citizenship.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like people need to be careful when they cross that border because they can snatch you up, you end up in a war zone somewhere.
Yeah.
Think you come into America, end up going to Ukraine.
Now, the way things are playing out today, hopefully we won't be in this so-called war for like numerous years from now. But do you see the U.S. ever having like another draft system where where
with
where
with 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 these millennials and what's the ones after the millennials?
I think it's Gen Z. I think it's
I,
Gen Z.
look, bro, hey, I don't be trying to keep up with all that, but that generation, no, they're not ready to be drafted.
Mm,
They're not ready to be drafted.
yeah.
And well, you know what? Let me take that back. Nobody's ready to be drafted.
Yeah. No one wants to kind of do something like against their will.
And matter of fact, you know what? I gotta say this. I think that any veteran who got drafted should get automatic 50% disability when they get out. You know why?
Oh wow.
But you know why?
Why?
Because they made them a slave.
I
The
won't go that
selective
far.
service.
I won't.
No,
I
no, no,
won't
no,
go
no,
that
no.
far.
Look, hear me out. The selective, when they select you for or your service, they are telling you have no choice but to go. That's slavery. That's no different than going to jail or going any place against your will. And you still can go to jail. I mean, Muhammad Ali got locked up for not doing the induction, right? But that was better than going to Vietnam and being killed.
Mm-hmm.
But you still being a slave. He was still a slave. They locked him up for a while. He still was a slave.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I wouldn't go that far in saying that people who are drafted are slaves. I mean, I don't want to compare it to chattel slavery, but yes, you
No,
are you
look.
are.
Slavery is when you're doing something that you don't want to do against your will.
Yeah, but we understand the context of chattel slavery as far as the transatlantic slave trade. People were brought here to like do hard labor out in the sun for at least 18 to 20 hours a day for capitalism and for the super elite at the time. As far as farmers and the cotton, the sugar, the rice. I mean, we understand that context, but today, if you get drafted, I wouldn't call them a slave per se, but you are going to get paid for your service. It is for a greater good as far as defending the country. To me, that's not a slave. You're that just the patriarchy pretty much like taking its full form. Patriarchy, men have to defend and be responsible for the homeland to defend the against the enemy at all costs. So I won't call him a slave. I would just say that it's just an unfortunate situation that that
That you have
that
to go. You have
that
to go somewhere and do things you don't want to do because someone
yes.
else told you you had to do it.
Yes, it's
I mean,
for
bro,
it's for
look.
freedom. It's for the American freedom. It's what it's for. It's for
Well,
freedom.
I mean, that's what they say, but they've taken your freedom away. I mean,
Yes,
people were fight. Look, man,
yes, but
when
I
people
wouldn't call
got
him a slave
drafted,
though.
okay, so if you go to boot camp and you forced to get up every morning and go PT and do other stuff, and you don't want to be there, That's what's the difference of that and someone throwing you on a ship and making you go someplace you didn't want to go and do things you didn't want to do. Matter of
Okay.
fact, I just pulled it. I just pulled it up. The Battle of Stalingrad,
Mm-hmm.
right? World War II. There was more Russians that were killing each other for that battle than Germans were killing Russians. They were killing their own men
Mm-hmm.
because they were being defeated by the Germans and they were being overrun and uh they started giving up and their own comrades sat there and shot them. They rather kill them than for them to run away as cowards.
Okay, let me throw this at you. Okay, so you call them slaves if you're going to be drafted. So that's your terminology. You calling them slaves, but let's just say you voluntarily enlisted in the military. You have to do 4 years in this enlistment. Let's just say like a week into it, you decided, you know what, this ain't for me. So would you be a slave for the rest of the 3 years and nine? I'm sorry, 3 years and 11 months and 2 weeks. Would you be considered a slave then,
Look,
even
if
though
you
they don't want to do it no more?
look, a volunteer is exactly that, a volunteer. You volunteered, I volunteered.
Yeah,
Every
but you don't want to do it no more though.
okay, but you volunteered. But it's the difference between saying, "Oh, I want to go," or "Hell no, I don't want to go," but you're gonna make me go anyway, and then I don't want to be here. Like, you know what? Let me ask you something. Who would you be? Who would you rather be in battle with on both of your sides? A volunteer or a voluntold?
Obviously, a volunteer.
Why? Because they want to be there.
Right,
The
right.
voluntold are going to leave you there to get killed by yourself, or they're going to hide behind some trees or a berm or something else. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those guys in Vietnam that got drafted, some of these guys shot each other in the foot just to go home. That's how bad it was for them and how scared they were that they were going to get killed by the Viet Cong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know a guy. He left he left active duty and went to the reserves and got mobilized within a month. And this dude went home and shot himself in the foot to get kicked out the Navy just so he wouldn't go on deployment.
Now, was he given a medical discharge?
Now he was given an administrative separation.
And under that, are you allowed to have any type of disability?
Yeah,
Oh wow! So you can have 400% VA benefits if
with the
if
admin discharge. Yeah,
wow,
I,
wow.
look, administrative discharge is that an administrative discharge from active duty or the reserves. It's just a discharge. It's not a dishonorable discharge. It's not a bad conduct discharge. It's just administrative.
Wow.
But they are kind of hard to explain because you don't get the right paperwork. They don't get a DD 14. They get a letter that says you were administratively discharged. Don't say why. They just say that you were.
And they're allowed to get 100% benefits if they qualify to have 100% benefits. But they would get something if they were separated from some type of casualty injury, right?
Well, depending if they go through the med board process, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You know, I mean that's a really long process now too. But just I mean, you know, give me like I would always want a volunteer versus a voluntold.
Yeah, yes. In a
You
perfect
know,
world, yes, we all want
right?
that. We all want that. But under this patriarchal system, that's one of the downsides of that type of social order. I mean, God forbid that we won't have like enough men to enlist in the military that they may go to extreme measures in doing this draft. Then yes, it's very unfortunate, but it is for the greater good of America being a superpower, America of fighting for our freedom, and in which we want to spread our democracy across the world. I mean, who says that our democracy is like the best? And I mean, democracy spread across the world. I mean, each each a different landmass is totally different. I mean, China, they have this communist social order. Russia got communism. Cuba got communism. Venezuela has communism. I mean, who knows if that social order is good for them or if democracy is good for them. I mean, we just don't know. But
Well,
as far as
I
what
mean, most
America
of us,
is right now, I mean,
you know,
this is all that we know right now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I mean, I like this social order. We've thrived in this social order, right? I mean,
somewhat.
you were afforded to spend like close to 30 years in the U.S. Navy and be retired and still live a productive life post retirement. I mean, you've won the American dream.
Nah, well, I mean, people say that. I mean, people say that until you're sitting around all day and trying to figure out things to do. Because I mean, I wasn't going to go work for nobody else no more.
Right,
Uh,
right. But you
right,
can
but
say that you
r-
won.
well, you know what? I won, but I've also lost a lot of things too by winning.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not a complete win. There's only one. There's
Nothing's
only one
perfect.
piece of. Well, nothing's perfect, but there's only one piece of my puzzle that I'm missing in my life. That's it.
Right, right.
Other than that,
I get it.
I'm fine. There's a one piece of the puzzle. That's it.
Right.
Everything else in my world is fantastic.
Awesome.
Um, but how much more time you got left?
I got a few more minutes.
Okay. Actually, no, that's about it for the draft thing. I mean, we beat that with the dead horse damn near.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So final words. Are you for or against the draft?
wow. I don't believe that anyone should be done do anything against their will. However, I think it'd only be. I look at it like a broken arrow, where we're being overrun in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I believe in the draft in. If someone's coming to harm us on our ground, but as far as drafting people to send them overseas to fight for someone else's war, no, I don't believe in that.
Mm,
That's
my
just
f-
that's just my personal opinion. Like uh, we more than punished Afghanistan and Iraq for 9/11. We more than punished them for that. And when I say that, after they got the target, which was Bin Laden, we should have pulled out. That was the mission, to go get Bin Laden.
yeah,
And
we got Saddam. I mean, years ago, and prior to getting
right, I'm saying you
Saddam, we
got
had
you got both of the tyrants.
right, and also we had gotten both of Saddam's sons.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know guys. I know Marines that were in a unit 2 blocks away from there that actually saw the shelling of Uday and Kusei's hideout.
Mm, okay.
They were there. They were all part of the meth. But I just saw a poster the other day, and it was really kind of, it was ironic. They said 20 years, $4 trillion to put the Taliban to go after the Taliban, just to put the Taliban back in charge. We
Mm,
spent all that time, all those American lives, all those Afghani innocent lives, all these people, just so we spent all that money for 20 years just to give it right back to them.
yeah, the average American citizen end up losing in the long run over that war, but certain people in the elite, like the Halliburtons and the other corporations, the military industrial complex, they all won.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, there is no such thing as a war unless somebody's making money.
Right. Yeah. People got serious bags out of it, but
Yeah, war. Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah, yeah. War ain't free. It ain't
right.
free at all.
Right. All right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and put a plug on this one, man. And but yeah, we can get back at this sometime sometime next week, man. I like this time as far as early in the day.
Yeah, me too.
As long as my kids are in school, I'm pretty much kind of good and got the time to do something like this. So But yeah, man, I appreciate you, man, and have yourself a good week. And yeah, we'll definitely get back at it next week.
All right, cool.
All right, cuz. Have a good one.
All right, later.
Peace.